What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, so a few people, in fact, quite a lot of people have reached out to me about this rumor that's starting to spread now that AJ could fight Andrew Ruiz Jr. in Nigeria. Obviously, the fight hasn't been signed yet. There does seem to be a problem about where the fight will take place. Andrew Ruiz Jr. has left statements in the last week or so saying he's not coming to the UK, which does make me question the legality of the rematch clause. Obviously, there's a rematch clause which should stipulate where the fight takes place. And Eddie Hearn has said that it makes sense for the fight to happen in Cardiff. He's ruled out Wembley and he's ruled out Tottenham's new stadium. So there does seem to be a problem as to where this fight will take place. AJ is in Nigeria right now, which is why I guess the rumor has started. I know for a fact that he has had sort of sit down meetings with powerful people that do want AJ to fight in Nigeria. So I don't know, maybe the information that was in those meetings have been leaked to certain publications and certain people. And that's why this rumor has started to spread. It isn't happening. It isn't happening in Nigeria, people. There's no way AJ is fighting Andrew Ruiz next in Nigeria. Could AJ have a fight in Nigeria? I think that's a very, very high possibility. Would it be Andrew Ruiz fight next in, 2-3 months? No. Andrew Ruiz didn't even want to come to the UK. Doesn't even want to come to the UK. There is no way Andrew Ruiz is going to agree to come to Nigeria, no matter what money's on the table. I mean, think about it. He doesn't want to come to the UK. I mean, he really doesn't want to come to Nigeria then. I think Nigeria should be a possibility. I mean, Andrew Ruiz spoke about the fight being in Mexico. He's Mexican, so I do think AJ, who is Nigerian, I do think it should be a possibility, and it should be a real possibility. It was before. This isn't new. I don't know if you guys remember, but AJ versus Klitschko 2, the rematch that was supposed to happen, which didn't. Nigeria was in the running with T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas and Wembley Stadium. It was actually one of those three. The fight didn't happen, but it was one of those three. I don't know if you guys remember a now kind of famous interview that Coogan did with AJ, where AJ spoke about fighting in Nigeria, and I think Coogan laughed about it or kind of talked it down a bit, and AJ kind of said, "Why are you laughing?" type thing. So there is a lot of talk about AJ fighting in Nigeria. I think AJ had to do what he's doing now, i.e. just walk around Nigeria, to kind of realize how big of a superstar he is in Nigeria. AJ is massive in Nigeria. I don't know if he knew. I don't know if people from the UK or the US know, but me having lived in Nigeria recently, I was there for 2.5 years. When AJ fights, it's massive. It's as big as when United, Chelsea or Liverpool play. When they play, streets are silent. When AJ fights, even when it is 3 or 4 in the morning in Nigeria, people are tuned into every single thing he does. So it's definitely a possibility. Now, a few people have asked me about money and security. Money, again, I fully understand if you are from the UK or the US and you've never ever been to Nigeria. I can understand why you would maybe ask that question. Even me as a Nigerian, before I went back, when did I go back properly as an adult? About 7 years ago. Before I went back, I didn't realize the wealth in Nigeria. There is this thing where the Western world only shows the poverty in Africa, but trust me when I say Nigeria could put on an AJ fight just like that. There are billionaires in Nigeria that want to be associated with the AJ brand and would happily put on an AJ fight. They would happily do it. So financially, it isn't a problem. There are a couple of big stadiums, obviously the National Stadium in Abuja, which could host it. I don't know how many thousands and thousands will sit in that. And there's the other national stadium, one where Nigeria used to play in Lagos, in Surulere. Again, massive stadium. So there are 2 big stadiums that could host any big AJ fight. Security, I don't know. Look, it is in Africa, so I fully understand that security will be heightened a bit. But, I mean, South Africa had the World Cup, and I think that went through without no big major security problems. So I do think Nigeria could host an AJ fight without no problems. Look, for me personally, I'd love to see AJ fight in Nigeria. I would. I think more socially than economically. I think what AJ could do in terms of birthing the next AJ and the next boxer coming through could be massive. Israel Adesanya, a UFC fighter, went to Nigeria recently, and even just in his short trip, people already excited about becoming the next MMA superstar. Someone like AJ, who has a bigger pool and a bigger reach and is just more famous, could do wonders for sport in Nigeria. And plus, these are the fights that go down in history. It's not always about the fights in America and the UK. You think of the three biggest fights ever. I mean, obviously, Rumble in the Jungle was probably the most famous fight. Thriller in Manila, and the one with Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, maybe because of the upset. But those are the biggest, and they weren't in America. So I think it would be good to have a big, huge fight in Africa. And I think right now, Nigeria is the place. I think Lawrence Okoli tweeted saying he wants a fight in Nigeria. Again, so you could have a huge card. There is guys like F.A. Jagba out there as well. So, I mean, there is potential to have a massive card in Nigeria, spearheaded by AJ. But it won't be this AJ versus Ruiz fight. But I think the possibility now is massive. Before, I would have said absolutely no chance. But I think even AJ going back home, I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures and the videos where he's literally surrounded by thousands of people. Almost a bit like, and I'm not saying it's Muhammad Ali, don't get me wrong, but almost a bit like the images we saw with Muhammad Ali going to Zaire and people just surrounding him. It was a bit like that. And I think that might have surprised him a bit. And this wasn't a planned trip either. This was spontaneous. If it was a planned trip where the red carpet is laid out for him, boy, it could be huge. But no, this fight, definitely not. Next fight, possible. Very possible. Peace.